Hello, young artists. Hey, this is Miss Urban, and I am coming to you live from a really special place. This is my personal art studio. I figured I would show y'all around because I want to talk to you guys today about something that I think is a very important part of being an artist. So, I'm going to do a quick tour of my studio. This is my wall of paint, and as an artist, I use a special kind of paint called oil paint. And it's the kind of paint that mainly professional artists use. I don't even really use it with my high schoolers. But look at all these colors. I love collecting colors. And then this is my wall. I've got some random stuff up here. And this is where I mix all my paint. It's called an artist palette. And I've got a few more tubes down there. And a big, huge bunch of paint because I am currently working on this little itty-bitty painting. While y'all are out in school, I'm hoping to get some painting done. Just like I hope you guys can get some art done. So this is my painting, and I'm actually looking at this weird setup with plastic wrap in it as inspiration. Do you guys see it? Maybe, maybe not. Everything else in here is just kind of a mess. I got lots of paintings on the walls and another table that I keep and store stuff on, and yeah. So I wanted to just show you guys around, show you that this is kind of what being an artist looks like. It's kind of crazy, right? So, why am I showing you all these things? Well, give me a second and I will tell you. Okay, so the reason I was showing you guys my studio is because that is a really important part of my artistic practice. It is something that I find very important to being an artist. Another thing I find very important to being an artist is keeping a sketchbook. And you guys all know, especially if you're in my elementary classes, that we've got those boxes at the front of our classrooms filled with sketchbooks. Some of you guys have filled those things up with drawings. Some of you guys have only drawn a couple. It's totally fine. But I thought about it and I was like, what can these kids do while they're out of school, but they still want to draw? Well, maybe you've got some paper at home and you just decide to use some random paper, but that's no fun. Why don't you have a whole book? So I was going to give you a glimpse into my sketchbooks. Mine have a lot of drawing and writing in them, mainly because they're what I use to plan artwork. So you can see lots of little sketches, lots of little doodles, some different random shapes. Some of these are colored, some of these aren't. Most of them aren't, because I tend to just kind of think about composition and how things are arranged, and not necessarily about the color. So I've got a whole bunch of sketchbooks dating all the way back, man, to college. It's kind of crazy. And they all come in different forms. There's some color. So, you know, all kinds of crazy ideas. I've got this one. This is my newest one. It's actually got some little watercolors in it. It's kind of cool. Giving me all kinds of inspiration to create artwork. Well, I'm going to teach you guys how to make a super basic sketchbook today that you can use while you're stuck at home and you don't want to have to, you need something to do. You know, maybe you're burned out on schoolwork and you just need a brain break. You need something to draw in. So I'm going to teach you how to make a really easy sketchbook. You might need your parents' help. It just depends on how confident you feel about it. So this is my cute little example. All you're gonna need, and I'll post a supply list in a second, is a cover. I'm using construction paper, but you're welcome to just use normal paper. And then you're also gonna need some pages. I'm only putting a few because I don't want to use a lot of paper right now, but you guys are welcome to use as many as your parents will let you. 25, 50, as many as they'll let you, okay? You're going to be doubling them by folding them in half. Keep that in mind. So you need a cover page, a stack of white paper. You're also going to need a scissors or a hole punch or both, and some string. If you don't have string or yarn at home, if you happen to have rubber bands, you can use rubber bands if you cut them and open them up to make them one long piece. Or twine. Probably string or yarn is going to be your best bet. Okay, so I'm going to post your supply list and then we will get started. Okay, so how do we make a sketchbook? Well, we have to have a cover. So this is my cover piece. For my cover, I'm going to go ahead and fold this in half. And the nice thing about construction paper is that it's actually a little bit bigger than white paper. So it's going to be a little bit bigger of a cover than my inside pages. So I folded this in half. Next, I'm going to take all of my papers And I'm gonna fold them in half too. And the thing is if you've got a lot of papers, it's gonna get really, really hard to fold. But if you only have a few, like I do, it's gonna be easier. So you're gonna fold them in half. I'm kind of pressing down to make sure it's a nice, clean fold. And then when you open it up, you know, you've got all your papers. So that seems easy enough, right? I'll let you guys pause if you need to catch up, and then I'll show you the next step. The next step is going to be putting your pages into your book. Now this is where you might need a parent's help, because obviously this is just gonna fall apart. Whatever, right? But if you want it to stay together, we have to use string to keep it together. So you're gonna put these in here, and then using either a scissors or a hole punch, we're gonna cut a couple of holes. Now on this one, I used a scissors and I just cut these little triangle shapes. You can do that. Make sure that's lined up by just doing a snip here and a snip there. This is also gonna work better if you have a lot of pages, because a hole puncher won't get through everything. If you want to use a hole puncher, you can use a hole puncher, but you wanna make sure you're only punching like a half of a hole. And that was almost too much. So you guys see how I did that? There's a half there. And even then, I don't think it went through. It barely went through all my pages. So I would highly, highly recommend using a scissors. And if it is too thick for you to cut, ask your parents. Okay, so we've got, I'm gonna go ahead and fix this because it just wasn't big enough. We have our 2 slots. Now we need some string. I'm using this really thin string, so I think I'm actually gonna double it. But if you have thicker string, it might work great with just one piece. You're gonna take your string, you're going to open up your book, so that way the holes are flat like this, and you're going to run it through one hole, and you're gonna run it through another hole, okay? At this point, if it's a thicker string, I'm gonna go ahead and just tie it in a bow and be done. Since I'm using a really thin string, I'm actually gonna go through it a second time, like this. Okay. Boom. 2 times. And now I'm ready to tie it. So you can tie it in a knot. You can tie it in a bow. You can kind of do whatever is going to keep it secure. Okay, I'm just gonna do a knot for this one because I didn't leave a long enough tail to do a bow. Make sure you get it nice and tight, and if you have extra, you can trim it off. Okay, so look at this. This is my book. That was really easy, right? Now you can just decorate the cover if you want, open it up, fill it with drawings. If you need some inspiration, I have posted lots and lots of drawing prompts to our Google Classroom. You are welcome to use those to start, or you can just draw whatever comes to mind. But that's it, guys. I hope y'all are enjoying your break. I miss you. We'll see you soon.